Good morning, multipliers. How are you today? I just feel like I'm crowding you out, baby. I want you to scoot up a little further. Guys, how are you today? It is an exciting day. I turned 24 yesterday, Judah.
You did, yes.
I'm old now, officially. I crossed the bridge. There's no going back. I'm no longer young. I'm old. We've reached it. But you know, Judah, do you ever as a kid, speaking of getting older, as a kid, did you ever dream of being super? Flight, strength,
yeah, I think
speed,
we've all thought of that one thing we would like to have.
instant teleportation.
Super.
The all things. Yeah, I agree. It's cool. It's a fun thought. I used to love watching, I still do. I enjoy the superhero movies, i.e. Captain America, or something on my shirt. Hopefully you guys can't see it on the screen. All these exciting things. But Judah, what would you do if you were somebody who maybe was not to this level of Captain Awesome America, but still somebody super. You've procured a list of some superhumans.
Mutant superpower humans.
Let's hear it then.
Okay, so this first one is this guy that has super endurance. He basically, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but he's an Olympic skiing champion, and apparently he has 50% more oxygen in his bloodstream, so he has better endurance.
50%, that's a lot though. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a lot of extra oxygen. I mean, you know, that's insane.
I know, it's not really fair that they get to compete though, because it's like they're automatically going to be better.
It is a little bit unfair.
Yeah.
But then again, is it his fault that he's better?
That's true.
I mean, no.
This one is pretty cool. This one is someone that can eat like anything. His name is Mr. Eats All. And he actually consumed like an entire Cessna 150 airplane in a matter of 2 years.
What?
Yeah, apparently his like body, like his lining is like really thick. And so he can like swallow those objects and like...
He ate an airplane.
Yeah.
He ate an air... Why would you... First off, okay, here's the thing. If you can eat things, more power to you. I wish I could do that.
But not
I can eat a lot of stuff, but not an airplane. But in the same sense, here's the thing. Why, oh why would you want to eat an airplane?
So you can say you could?
I mean, but what is that guy? It's like, some guy's like, yeah, I eat five big, half-pound burritos at Taco Bell last night. I felt pretty good. And the guy's like, I ate an airplane.
Well,
What does he gain?
He apparently had a disorder that gave him an appetite for non-consumable objects like dirt, rocks, metal, stuff like that. So he kind of like Jeremiah has an eating disorder. Not an eating disorder. But
Yeah, but he has a disorder. Yeah, he gets Prader-Willi syndrome. My oldest brother does, and it's where his mind and his stomach don't communicate, so he's always hungry.
Right. So this guy just had that. Only he liked to eat planes.
Except he was like, I want to eat rocks. Still weird, but okay.
This chick, she was, I think there was an actress it said, but I don't know. It's Marilu Henner from a 1970s TV sitcom Taxi. But apparently she can remember every part of her life in detail.
I've heard about this before.
Have you heard about that?
Yeah, and she's not the only person. There's people that can do this.
Yeah, there's 25 cases of it.
Yeah, so it's not like, I actually watched a documentary on this before. So it's to where you can say June 27th and at 12 p.m. they'll be like, yeah, I was sitting in my room watching TV.
Yeah, it's literally like a video just playing in their head.
But they say it's actually really hard too, because it's not just that they remember it, it's that they remember the emotions of it. So if someone died, you remember that in exact emotion, how you felt. So you always relive that emotion. It's really actually, it sounds cool in some sense, but there is, and it is cool. One guy is a huge New York Giants fan, and he can remember every play. He can be who scored, what happened at minute 54 of the 1975 13th game in the season or something like that. He'll be like, oh, yep, this guy scored on this touchdown. Pretty incredible.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's actually really cool. I've heard of that one before.
My next one is, where'd it go? The no need for sleep. Apparently there are some people in the world, it's rare, but they basically have a gene that is DC2, which affects the circadian rhythm. And so they're short sleepers, they don't need sleep hardly at all. They don't need it to survive.
I love sleep though, that's the thing. I mean,
I love sleep.
I mean, But then again, I am far less sleeping than you. Funny story here. The first time I hung out with Judah and her family, I went over to her house on Sunday after church, and I walk in and we sat down. Everybody ate lunch. It was great. We're having a great time. And then we sat down after lunch in their living room, and about 15 minutes later, everyone was asleep, besides me. And I could not sleep. And so I understand to a portion, but I love sleep a little too much not to be able to do it at all. But it would be very, 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 very useful because I would not fall asleep to movies as much. We're watching at home on our comfy couch.
That's true. You've been falling asleep every movie this week.
I have been falling asleep a lot.
Yeah, last week. Okay, so the next one I have is an unbreakable bone disorder.
That'd be handy. That'd be really handy. I've never broken a bone, so I may have this.
I know, I was thinking that too. But apparently, like, their bones, like, are resistant to age and, like, they don't decay or, like, weaken ever.
So that, but they can break, obviously they can break a bone, but it's very difficult, I'm supposing, then? I mean, you can't jump off the Empire State Building and not break a bone.
Well, yeah, they just have significantly stronger and denser bones.
That's pretty handy, though, because, I mean, I may have that. I mean, I'm big boned. You know, you get an old thing, you guys ever want to know if you're big bone or small bone? You take it around your wrist, and if you can't reach and touch your fingers, you're big boned. If you're like Judah and you can do that, you're small boned. Little lesson right there for you. Maybe I'm big, unbreakable boned.
I think those were the most, there was a few other ones, but those were kind of the coolest.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many interesting things, guys, that the human body. God does so many things that when we see in people that are interesting to see these different factors and stuff that make people people. I think it's really cool. And like, you know, it's interesting to see how this is in some of these weird ones. Very, very, very cool. Let us know in the comments down below. Is there anything that you guys have that just maybe you have one of these mutations or whatever you want to call it, superhumans? Or maybe you know someone who could do something incredible. That'd be really awesome. I'd love to hear about the comments down below. But, I guess it's time for us to roll on to the focus.
Yes.
So, today, Judah, we are going to be talking about making yourself a living sacrifice. This is definitely an interesting term for people. We're going to be in Romans chapter 12. We're just going to be reading the first 2 verses. And I tell you guys, it's really interesting because God calls us to do so much. He calls us to be these people, these followers of Christ. And sacrifice is something that's not easy. It's not supposed to be. That's why it's sacrificing. But this is an interesting topic. If you'd read just the first 2 verses right there.
Okay, I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. By the testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect.
Okay, so I think there's something really, really beautiful in this, and that, Paul, first off, we see he's appealing to us, obviously, but he's saying, by the mercies of God, present your bodies as a living sacrifice. Now, sacrifices normally end up in death, right? So it's something you give up. Obviously, it's the ultimate sacrifice. So what in the world does it mean to be a living sacrifice? If I live and I'm a sacrifice, but the point is
still death technically because you're dying to yourself.
Yeah, it's to give yourself completely to it. You're right, Judy. Yeah, absolutely. Like, give myself completely over to Christ, to what He's doing, to His will for my life, God's will for who I'm going to be, what I'm going to do. You see, because it's really easy to get caught up in our own desires, our own will, and our own things for this. Judah and I, for instance, when we do a lot of this, multimedia is our passion. God's laid on our hearts, but it's not always easy. Especially, guys, I think you can level with us. We do a lot of work here, and to look up and you see, we actually had a great subscriber bump last week. It's been awesome. We're excited, but it's sometimes hard to put up when you're not seeing the payoff. Mm-hmm. We put hours and hours and hours a week into this, and not see, but you see, we're sacrificing for God because we feel like He called us to do it. And you might say, okay, that seems simple, but no, there's so many times in my life where I can think of when I didn't want to do something, when I did not think it was what I wanted to do at all, but I felt like it's what I needed to do. Mm-hmm. And those moments when God comes through. But you can see here, He says that basically He says, do not conform to the world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. But by the testing you may discern what the will of God is, what is the will of God, and what is good and acceptable and perfect. So, basically that by God's blessings, by God's trials He lets us go through, He allows us to go through sometimes those things, we learn to understand what God wants. And I can say that 100% is truth. I would not understand so as much as like right now, in a point in our life when life's not going 100% how we want. My dad's, he's very ill, not ill, he's not very ill, but he's got a very possibly concerning disease, but a disorder or something coming up, and there's all these things that are happening that are very, very scary. Job situations, what God's calling us to do, the stuff around us. But the thing is, guys, it's that Judah and I talk about this all the time. We have no fear. And you might say, Daniel, that's stupid. What are you doing? You have no. Literally, it's like, I know God has taken us through so very much. Incredibly so. And I can stand up and say, genuinely, I know we're going to be fine. I know God's in control. Doesn't matter how bad it may look, how dark it may get. I know God's in control. And there's a sweet serenity comes to it, but that's come by the testing of what God's done in our lives.
Right.
So my challenge to you guys is this, that life gets very, very hard. Following Christ is never promised to be a peachy roses, daffodils, going through the forest, just, with a bunny chasing you through life. You know what I mean? Nothing. I mean, it is scary. It's intense. It's frightening. But it's beautiful. And that we follow Christ and that we find our joy in Him and Him alone. And that's what it really comes from. That's the point, is that we need to present ourselves as a living sacrifice, saying, God, no matter the pain, no matter the joy, no matter anything that may come, I give myself to you. And in those moments of joy and those moments of pain, we remember to give them to Christ, to give ourselves completely over to Him. Because when we do that, we begin to realize what God's plan is and His way of, even though it seems so confusing or scary, that He's in control.
And it's kind of beautiful just being, having to be vulnerable, because you have to, like you said, lean on Him for.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just giving yourself over and saying, God, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I trust you. And then when you get in that position, guys, God does the most beautiful things.
Yeah.
He really does. And I tell you guys, I appreciate everything. I'm so glad you tuned in today. We're constantly trying to make this better, do more and more stuff, and we appreciate you checking back in. If you like what we do here, please hit that subscribe button. Truthfully, we really appreciate it. It means a lot to us that you do. And plus, you'll know when we put up every content, all our stuff, you'll know exactly where to come and when to do it. It'll alert you. And then hit that like button. What?
I love you. Thank you.
Hit that like button and let us know that you enjoyed this video in particular. And guys, please check out the links in the description down below to like our Patreon campaign, other things like that. Stay tuned. We're going to be hopefully putting up some new content on maybe another channel, but it'll be connected to this right here very, very soon. We're super duper pumped. We're working on that right now. And guys, I appreciate you watching so much. So as always, I'm Dan.
And I'm Judah.
God bless.
And we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.